So one of the big questions that people ask, especially as they're just starting, they're like, we get tired of playing the same songs every week. We're always playing this song, this song, this song, and they would ask on one of the chat boards about mixing it up. Is there songs you drop in? How do you handle that? And I wanted to kind of get your guys' opinion on it, that when we're doing weddings, week in, week out, there's a lot of similarities from one week to the next. How do you worry about keeping your show fresh? Do you worry about changing your music up? And let's kind of talk our way around with this one a little bit. Dan, I think you're going to actually start us out with this one, or did you do the last one?
I don't know. I'll go first.
Go ahead.
So this is something that we've recently talked about when Mike Walter was on the show. This is a topic that came up because we were talking to him about it, recording and posting his stuff on Mixcloud. And that has caused me to try and stay a little bit more fresh as far as my mixes are concerned. I might still play some of the same songs, but I'm not going to try and consistently follow up the same two songs together or the same set of songs together, even if they might make a great wordplay or make a great scene, together. I kind of try and change it up every so often because I know if I'm going to post it and my clients could find that, or potential clients could find that, I don't want them hearing the exact same mix week after week after week after week. However they may decide to listen to. So I will mix them up from that standpoint and just being cognizant of the fact that I'm recording this. I want to make it different. If I'm not recording, I really don't worry about it as much because with the exception of maybe a photographer or my venue, they're not hearing the same thing that I did 4 weeks ago, 2 months ago. So I'm not making the exact same set list, but if a couple of my more usual mixes makes their way in, nobody's any the wiser. Kevin?
I'm a big fan of Mike Walter as well, but I think we all learned from a guy by the name of Dave Lander, who is amazing, and he'll tell you to take those chances. And when you're doing your music programming, look at the age of the bride or the couple, see what year they graduated, then go to Billboard and see what kind of major hits there are, and then a couple classics when they were in middle school. And I will try to pull out 3 to 5 songs that I don't play every week. And if those songs hit, I'll put them in a rotation or something. Something that's been hit lately for me is the next episode. I don't know why, by Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, da 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 da, and then you just go crazy, right? And then I mix out of it, it's a short edit. I play about a minute and a half, or DMX, So there's some songs, like I said, I just like to try to drop newer songs, and as those songs I know I'm going to try to drop earlier, I will try to find an exit point if they don't work. I'll learn the song, find out what course I'm coming out of, if it's not working, so I can get out of it quickly. So if you are going to take chances or roll the dice on new songs, practice with those songs, find an exit point if it's not working, so that you're not crashing, like a hard mix out of it, where it's a train wreck. And then, pull something out of your pocket, like a High School Musical. Oh my God, I did a High School Musical song. Just it's crazy, right? But that's when they were watching when they were in high school, and it was just a huge sing along. So it's fun to find those songs that that High School Music worked 1 week, but 3 weeks later it didn't. So I rolled out of it. So it is fun to see if it works and dust some things off that you haven't played in a while. You're like, man, I haven't played that in a while. I'm going to drop this. And Dan, you had this conversation a couple weeks ago, how we felt, and John, you were there. Mr. Brightside just not hitting anymore because they hear it at every wedding. So some of those songs that they hear at every weddings, if you want to be different, you've got to play different. And you just can't show up on Saturday ready to go. You've got to prep on Thursday, Friday, whatever days you do prep on, and take an hour and a half to prep some songs and get ready.
And recently with the weddings that we've been doing, the songs that have been going over, because we kind of keep a little bit of a track of what's doing well, what's kind of was less than the results we were hoping for, is some of the classic type songs that we all would refer to as bangers have been the ones that have gone over the best. You've tried some different things and kind of gone some directions to test a little bit, but it was going back to Uptown Funk still goes, and people love it. And there was, with the Cupid Shuffle, it was still filled the floor and it did its thing. There's so many of these songs that work really well week after week. And as somebody mentioned in the chat room there, that you're not the same guests week after week, so they're not seeing your same show. Obviously, Mixcloud could play a small factor, maybe some people seeing some repetition. I think it's really becomes a case of, and we've talked about this before, is that there are people in that audience who are going to go to one wedding for the year, and they're going to want to do the Cupid Shuffle. They're going to want to do, and I couldn't believe this, Michael dropped YMCA 3 times in the last 3 weddings, and each time they went absolutely bonkers for it. I kind of drifted away from playing YMCA because of, just, it's like, I can't continue.
70s. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, it went really well. I mean, he's been adding a little bit more of some additional songs that I don't typically play, especially towards as the night progresses, because I kind of give him a little bit more free reign to run with what he's feeling. And there's times where he's playing the traditional, and the crowd's responding really well. And then there's times where he takes a flyer, and it's like, wow, I haven't played that in a long time, and it worked really, really well. So I guess the point, from my perspective, again, talking to Michael with that, is that when early in the night people are expecting an experience. In some cases, they're looking for some of those favorite songs that they can dance to and play and have a good time with. And if that means that we're playing the same, in that first hour, there's playing 10 songs that were the same that we played last week, maybe shuffling them up a little bit, but we're playing some of these big hits that people want to experience at a wedding, and it may be the only wedding they're going to hit this year. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And somebody, I love, there was a comment there. Basically, if you can't act excited, basically about hearing the same song, if you can't pretend to be excited about hearing "Paradise" by the Dashboard Lights, maybe you shouldn't be a wedding DJ. That mentality is that yeah, we've heard that song a lot of times. We've got to be hyped to play it. We've got to be excited and bouncing a little bit, and woo, as we go. Going back to Mike Walter, he talks about that song. That's one of them he's not a big fan of, but if you listen to it, when he hits it, he's got a routine that he does with it. And he works the song and works the crowd, and it is a great tool for his performances.
I think this is something you hit on something that earlier you mentioned. For some of these couples, they only go to one wedding a year, and so when they go, they want to hear that one song. It might be worth it, as you get to your event and you're completely set up, taking 5 minutes and going over and looking at the seating chart and seeing how many married couples you have that are there and how many singles. Because if you've got a fair number of singles, and they're there with a date, right? But
yep.
You don't have Mr. and Mrs. Jones or whatever. If you have a lot of singles, what you might find is they've gone to 4, 5, 6 weddings that year. Like just a couple weeks ago, one of my coworkers got married, and we were there, and I was talking with a friend of mine, and he goes, "Yeah, this is wedding number 3 of 4 for this year, and we're only in June." Right? Like that's how many they've been to already, and they've still got one more after that. So I think if you recognize that there's a lot of singles, I'm not saying you have to suddenly go, okay, I'm going to go and write, left field for everything else and really throw them for a loop, but it might be worth recognizing that too much of the same old is not going to work with this couple or with this crew because they've been to X amount of weddings this year, let alone over the past however many years. Where if you have a bunch of married couples.
And that's a great point, Dan, because this past weekend we had a lot of married couples Saturday night, and that was the most slow dances that every 25 minutes there was another slow dance, another slow dance, and 4 weeks ago we did one slow dance. After the first dance, we did one. Nothing the rest of the night, and for something that's involved with my what I do, that's unheard of. It's like generally at least once an hour. Nope, it didn't happen because we had mainly younger single people, and they were out dancing and having a good time. And it's like, okay, we could do a slow dance, but the parents of the groom and the parents of the bride, I'm not seeing any other real married couples. There's a few dating, but there were just a spots here and there. So yeah, good idea there. You kind of pay attention to that.
I think it's situational too, and I think as a job, we got to have fun as well. And that's why, and then we play the classics, and I do play the classics. I really do. I just don't like to do them in the same order because that's like working at Subway playing that's got to be boring. You know what I'm saying? So I like to change it. I think I said the reason I like to change, 3 to 5 songs different a night and just, so it's not so boring for me, like you said, Uptown Funk, man, I could sing that backwards in my head. And I know Little Boo Thing goes right into it. There's a lot of songs that, that you can drop. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, my thing is just have fun at your wedding and try not to do the same thing every time. Change up your mix. Same with the classics, but change up your mix.
Yes. Okay, let's do one last one, guys, here, and we'll be wrapping up for tonight. Here we go.